I'm trying to platinum the entire Assassin's Creed franchise, spanning 14 games and around 810 trophies, and today I'll be completing the final game in the Ezio trilogy, Assassin's Creed Revelations. Like in the last game, I'll have to complete the story, get a lot of collectibles, complete a bunch of side content and play through the DLC, but with no missable trophies this time. PSN Profiles has the game at a 4 out of 10 in difficulty with a 35-hour completion time, but besides 2 trophies, I'd say that it's more of a 2 out of 10 and took me only 20 hours to complete. With that out of the way, let's start Ezio's final journey with the first stage of the plat, that being the main story. The game starts with a quick recap of the last 3 games before putting us in a simulation created in the Animus, where we finally meet Subject 16, the same person that's been leaving behind clues for the last couple of games. He tells us that the only way to prevent Desmond's brain from being turned into mush is to see Ezio's story through to the end, so we cross a gate to play as him again. Unfortunately, he's been captured by Templars in an abandoned assassin castle, but even for an old Ezio, this is no issue and he manages to break free. After getting back our weapons and climbing the castle, we take a leap of faith into a hidden area where we find the entrance to the castle's library, which is Ezio's final objective. To open it, we need to find some keys mentioned in a journal, so we go kill the Templar captain who has it. He mentioned something about a grand temple before dying, marking the end of the sequence for the first trophy of the game. Following the journal's directions, we go to Constantinople, the location of the keys and the main setting for the rest of the game, where we meet the city's prince, Suleiman, and the city's main assassin, Yusuf. He explains that the throne is being fought over by 2 brothers, before introducing us to the rest of the assassins in the city. After getting some new gear, he also gives us a hook blade, an upgrade to our hidden blade which allows us to do some faster parkour and climbing. After learning how to use it, I go buy my first building in the city, and like in Brotherhood, it's the main way to generate passive income. This time though, money is actually really important because one of the collectibles required needs $500,000 total to be able to unlock, so getting our finances going early is necessary for this trophy. The next main mission introduces something new to the franchise, that being den defenses. They're pretty straightforward, all you have to do is just place units and barricades to defend against waves of Templars until a boss appears at the end. We then go meet up with Yusuf at the other end of the city where we get another tutorial, this time for bombs. Besides being extremely overpowered, they're also linked to a bunch of trophies later on. With this new tool, we go and clear our first trademark Ubisoft enemy camp by killing its captain and lighting a tower, ending sequence 2 for another trophy. Before starting the next sequence, I should also mention that while buying some buildings, I was not recording since I assumed that I would get no other trophies, but I did get one for getting my money back from a Templar tax collector. Yusuf then asks us to go recruit some assassins, which we do by freeing up some locked up merchants. Recruited assassins can be set as leaders of bases that we clear, which is required to level them up to the Master Assassin rank, which I'll have to do a bunch of times for another trophy. To level them up, I have to send them on missions, which also gives me some items for crafting and frees up other cities, which is also required for separate trophies later on. While our recruit is out on missions, we go talk to Yusuf about the keys that we're looking for, and he sends us to talk to another guy who has more information on them, and also teaches us some bomb recipes. He gives us a location of an important trading post where we meet Sophia, its new owner. After looking around her shop, we find a secret passage that leads to an underground area guarded by some Templars, and at the end of it we find the first key and a map with more information on the other ones, which we bring to Sophia so she can help us find them. After that, we regroup with Yusuf to share our findings, and we get sent to contact our allies, the Romanis. Before doing that though, I also got a trophy for getting 50 kills with the hidden blade while doing a bit of side content on the way. They ask us to get back money that was stolen from them by the Templars, which we easily do and get rewarded with their help. After getting the Romanis on our side, we return to our base to inspect the key, which starts the first Altair section of the game. These are pretty interesting since they show Altair's story, with this first one being early in his life where we have to save our mentor from a Templar invasion. The next mission has us and our apprentice go after a traitor, and after dealing with him we raise him to the rank of Master Assassin, which unlocks a trophy and also ends sequence 3. The next sequence starts with us talking with Yusuf, planning on infiltrating the Sultan's castle. To do this, we knock out some musicians to do the Ezio special and dress up as them to sneak in. In the palace, we distract some Templars to be able to kill them before they kill the prince. After saving him, we talk about the captain responsible for security, who clearly failed at his job, and about his uncle and father, who are the 2 people arguing over the throne. In order to help out Suleiman, we eavesdrop on a conversation between Captain Tariq and his uncle, during which tensions rise and they both start to doubt each other. Before investigating any of that further, we go to a market to meet up with Sophia, who is being bothered by Duccio, who's the same guy that cheated on your sister back in Assassin's Creed 2. She asks us to go get some documents for her since they're stuck on a ship, which we bring back to her shop. In return, she gives us the location of a book who would give us more information on the next key. So we go get it and follow its instructions that lead us to an underground section of the city which contains the key. Like last time, inspecting the apple unlocks another Altair mission, this one being at the end of Assassin's Creed 1 where he kills his mentor for using the Apple of Eden. This angers his friend Abbas, who turns some assassins against Altair and takes the apple for himself, but since he's a bum, the apple just knocks him out and we manage to take it away from him. This ends sequence 4 for another trophy. Following Tariq to see if he's really working with the Templars as proposed by Suleiman, we see him meet up with some fat guy at the docks to make some sort of deal concerning weapons. So to gain access to the docks and the weapons, we start a riot at the gates to be able to break in. Inside we find the guns to be traded before quickly escaping. While doing some more side content, I also got a trophy for crafting 30 bombs. Returning to the key side of the plot, Sophia gives us the location of yet another book, which once again gives us a key's location. To get the key this time, we have to chase some Templars down an underground waterway until the boat capsizes and conveniently leaves us at the key's location. Now the Altair missions are taking place after AC1, with a much older Altair confronting Abbas about his poor management of the Assassin Order and to know more about his son's death. But because Altair fucks around with the apple, he ends up by getting his wife killed and has to escape with his remaining son. While escaping, I also popped a trophy for getting a triple kill with throwing knives. Eventually though, we managed to escape, marking the end of sequence 5. After getting the third key, we return to Suleiman to give him the information that we've gathered so far, with which he asks us to kill Tariq for treason. The only way to get close to him is to be a guard, so of course we pull off the Ezio special once again, stealing a guard's uniform and infiltrating the camp, where we managed to kill Tariq. Turns out though that Tariq was secretly working against the Templars, planning an ambush, and Suleiman's recklessness and impatience got him killed. So we relay this information back to the prince, who is thankfully regretful of his choices, before his uncle pulls up interrupting the conversation, acting a little bit too suspicious. Before going after the weapons though, we go out of our way to rizz up Sophia with a picnic before giving us the next book's location. This time the key is locked behind a puzzle level, which was less of a puzzle and more of just pulling levers in a set order. After moving all these big blocks into place, I got the key. Now Altair is even older and ready to get rid of Abbas. Guiding loyal assassins, we make our way back into the castle, where Altair, the goat that he is, pulls out the strap and smokes Abbas. To end the sequence, we go to the docks to blow up a blockade preventing us from leaving to the weapons location, and after running through some burning ships to board our own, we sail away to end sequence 6. Our destination was Cappadocia, a rocky island where the Templars supposedly set up base, with a whole ass city inside a massive cave. Our first objective was to find some of Tariq's spies that could help us with dealing with the Templars, but most of them have been captured, so of course we now have to go free them. After killing the main jailer, we free the remaining captives before heading to the city's gunpowder stash to blow it up. While doing so, I also got a trophy for getting 5 kills in one smoke grenade. The massive explosion created the perfect opportunity to isolate the fat man and kill him, which is good because he had the next key. But out of nowhere, Suleiman's uncle pulls up, shocking absolutely no one that he's with the Templars and has captured Sophia. So we leave the island to head back to Constantinople to stop him. While on the boat, we inspect the key for another Altair mission, where he gives Niccolo Polo the journal and the keys, marking the end of sequence 7. Back in Constantinople before finishing the story, I managed to find Duccio and beat him up for another trophy. In Sophia's shop, we unfortunately find Yusuf dead, so we gather all the other assassins to go kill Ahmed, who is Suleiman's uncle. But because of his leverage with Sophia, he forces us into bringing him the keys to ensure her safety. So we bring the keys in exchange for Sophia, but we were tricked and it wasn't actually Sophia. But by pure coincidence, we see her being hung not too far away, so we glide in like it's fucking Fortnite and save her for real this time. We then chase Ahmed down in the most uncharted way possible before setting his carriage off a cliff. But it gets even worse because now we fist fight him mid freefall before hitting the ground and getting the keys back. And out of nowhere, Suleiman's dad shows up for the first time in the whole game, claims to be the new sultan, and steals our kill. Not only does he have the balls to steal our kill, but also threatens us and tells us to fuck off despite carrying the city on our back while he did nothing the whole time. After he leaves, sequence 8 ends. We then head to Masyaf Castle with Sophia and the keys, open the library door, and inside find Altair's skeleton with the final key, which shows us his final moments where he hides the Apple of Eden before peacefully passing away. As Ezio, we choose to leave the apple alone before he talks directly to Desmond through the apple and seemingly retires as an assassin, shown by him dropping all of his gear. But this conversation gets interrupted by those fuck-ass ancient humans that make the story unnecessarily convoluted, so I won't bother even covering what they say. This also pops to the trophy for completing all side objectives in the main missions. After this cutscene ends, Desmond wakes up for the first and only time this game, says that he knows what to do, and the game ends. This also marks the start of the second phase of the Platinum, that being completing all of Desmond's missions. Unlike in previous games, Revelations doesn't interrupt the main story with modern day missions, since Desmond is stuck in the Animus until the end of the game. So instead, Ubisoft decided to change things up and added 5 Fortnite building type missions where you gotta place some blocks to traverse a level and avoid obstacles. This was by far the worst part of the game, and I don't think that looking at gameplay sells how bad this actually was, and honestly I would have much preferred having some boring modern day missions than this. There really isn't much to talk about regarding these missions, other than completing each one gives a trophy. With these out the way, all that's left in the base game is all the side content, challenges, and collectibles. I started by going for Iron Curtain, which required a perfect den defense without using the cannons. Even though it wasn't too hard, only taking 2 to 3 tries, it was a bit long to get since not using the cannons made the last wave take a while, but after 4 minutes of shooting the transport vehicle, I finally got the trophy. Next, I went to complete all the bomb missions to unlock all the recipes. Again, these were easy but took a while since they were 6 full missions to play through, but after around an hour, I got them done. While completing these, I also got a couple more trophies. One was for getting 5 hidden blade kills in 5 seconds, which was really easy during the Caltrop bomb mission, and the other was for freeing up all the cities in the recruit missions, which I had constantly been progressing in the background. At this point, I was getting a bit bored of all the missions, so I put a video on my second monitor and got to gathering most of the remaining collectibles. The first set were 10 pages, which was quick and easy since they were marked on the map, but the other set, which were 100 Animus fragments, took a bit longer because I had to use an online map since not all of them were marked in-game. While collecting them, I also got a trophy for gliding onto a zipline, but once again I was not recording, so I had to use a playback clip but missed the trophy pop. Now, aside from one type of collectibles, all that's left are more combat and gameplay related trophies. With the pages I got before, I opened up the Hagia Sophia challenge, which is a short parkour mission inside the building, which unlocks a new set of armor and a trophy. Right after that, I climbed the same building in under 25 seconds for another one. The next trophy though was a lot more annoying to get. It required me to loot 50 dead guards with thieves, but to even unlock that ability, I had to grind out a bunch of thief challenges only to spend 20 minutes running around the city, killing guards, and hoping that the thieves would loot them. On the other hand, Mosh Pit was a lot easier and faster to get, since poisoning 10 enemies at once is pretty easy by going to a specific point in the map with hella guards, baiting them into one spot, and throwing one poison bomb. Mousetrap was a bit more annoying to get, requiring 5 guards to be killed by falling scaffolding while trapped by caltrops, but sometimes the scaffolding would straight up just miss them, making the trophy a bit more annoying to get than the other ones. The next one was also really easy. All I had to do was parachute across the entire top island in one go. Monster Dance was the only other annoying trophy and was also somewhat luck based since I needed a poisoned guard to hit 5 civilians, but every time they start attacking, the civilians just start running away, so I had to bait them back in by using coins and hope that they ran into the guard. Getting 7 assassins to max rank is technically easy in theory. All I had to do was send them on enough missions, have them be a den leader, and then do a final mission with them. The problem is that for seemingly no reason whatsoever, one of them hit the XP requirement for promotion, but the mission would just straight up not appear no matter what I did, so I thought that I would have to start a new save just for this one trophy. But out of nowhere, the mission appeared hours after I had gotten all the XP necessary and had already promoted all the other 6 assassins to max rank. After completing his promotion, I got the related trophy, along with another one for completing all the challenges for one faction. The final base game trophy I got was for getting the last set of collectibles, which were a bunch of books. Besides the ones collected in special missions, the rest had to be bought and not for cheap. The ones in Constantinople were relatively cheap, especially with the 15% discount from owning all the bookstores, amounting to a bit over $100,000. The ones in Cappadocia were about $340,000 and were the reason why I had to get my money up from the start. After buying all of them, I got the trophy, meaning that all that's left for the platinum is the DLC. Now, remember how I said that the Desmond missions had really bad gameplay and were just annoying to play? Well, Ubisoft, in their infinite wisdom, made the DLC entirely based on that sort of mission, and for that reason I will go into absolutely no detail on what happens in them. There are 5 different trophies linked for beating the missions, one for getting all the collectibles in the DLC, another for using them in a secret ending, and another for placing a block after falling a large distance. The 2 remaining ones were the only trophies in the game that add any difficulty to the platinum, since they require beating the DLC's hardest missions without dying, and because of its poor design, was very frustrating to do. The easier one of the 2 was for clearing the final section of the DLC without failing, and this one wasn't too bad since it's short despite it being more mechanically challenging. The other one required a full clear of the hardest mission, Deathless, which was made worse by the final section, which caused the most deaths, at the end of a 6-minute long mission, which wasn't necessarily easy either because of the poor design of these sorts of missions. But after a couple of attempts, still taking almost half an hour to do, I got past the final falling section, got the trophy, and popped the plat. Revelations was overall a solid game, better than 2 but not as good as Brotherhood, mainly because of its weaker story and the Animus missions being bad, but at least the trophies were mostly fun to get. Let me know what other games you'd like me to plat once I'm finally done with the Assassin's Creed games. Anyway, thanks for watching, have a good one.